My name is Rich Ullman. I'm the Vice President of Marketing and Visual Revenue, and we are all about providing editorial support and fueling the judgment of editors. What Visual Revenue is essentially, we call it a decision support engine, a platform for editors that takes what is actually happening on their website in real time, and we use real-time data and predictive analytics to fuel their judgment, to improve their judgment with better decision making, and help them to be better editors. What we do is we feed that back to them in oversimplified, I would say, that we tell them what's working and what's not working, and then exactly what to do about it. We make suggestions, polite recommendations, if you will, on what to do next. And that helps them increase engagement with their audience, to better understand their audience and what's happening, and actually it fuels the editorial side of content, which it's not a data-driven exercise, but data drives decision-making, and it's the human decision-making that makes the publications distinctive. Well, we've seen an adaptation of tools like ours of the newsroom itself, and that's a newsroom from USA Today, the New York Daily News, the London Evening Standard, to places like The Atlantic or Forbes magazine online, that they've evolved to this data-driven environment. And they are using more data to fuel what their decisions are. It's out there. And particularly when you get to news properties, there's a much greater need to distinguish oneself because news becomes almost a commodity. What happened? It's your perspective and the voice that you apply to it, your editorial decision making, that really drives distinctions between media properties. And we are now in a land potentially of almost limitless media properties. So in that land, how does each one of them provide its own distinct voice? How do I know the difference between one property and another, and why am I, if I'm in the audience, why am I going back to one versus another when there's so much that can be taken from them that's quite the same? Among the things that we do distinctively, we genuinely believe that editors are going to understand their audience best when they know and they measure against benchmarks. And benchmarks of their own performance as editors and the content that they're creating at every moment of every day, and how that content performs. The great thing about the web and online content is that they can see that in real time. And we use, as I said, we use real-time data and predictive analytics to tell them, wow, this is what's happening now. How do I understand what I should be doing 5 minutes from now, 5 hours from now? So those are the things that the benchmarking and the polite recommendations within our set are the ways that we help editors there. And in the social channel, we put out a product in February that is now, for the first time, editors can actually see and measure their success in the social channel, not just in what they're casting out in terms of content being shared and tweeted, but what's coming back into them. Those users are coming back into their property and engaging with the website and being a part of the audience, and the audience that they can actually monetize. No real secrets, but I'd say there's three things. In February, we launched a social editorial suite, which took our product and expanded it from the home page and section front pages to showing editors and publishers what's actually working in the social channel for them. So measuring success or failure in the social channel, how to adapt to that so that somewhat metaphorically, if you're casting the line out, how many fish are you actually catching and putting in the bucket at the end of the day? It's something that most people will measure how many tweets and retweets they get, but we're measuring actually the audience coming back in. We'll continue to improve that product with recommendations on when you should be tweeting and what is the optimal time. Is it 9:30 a.m. or should you be waiting until 2 in the afternoon for the best possible performance? Secondly, last month Visual Revenue was acquired by Outbrain. And when you look at what we have as an editorial support platform and put it together with their content discovery engine, it will begin to point to the idea of engagement and how publishers can both engage their audiences and then amplify their content that is most resonant with the audience. And then lastly, we plan to announce at the end of this month a complementary product to our instant headline testing, which would be instant image testing. So editors then looking at their front pages can actually then craft better headlines and images with each story by doing a live A/B test of what's actually the audience is responding to on the page and how to best perform or deliver the content that they're most going to engage with and stay and filter in around the site.